According to traditional sources, the Chao state was dramatically established when Tamfu, the Chao leader, immigrated over the mountains south into the Wei River Valley to avoid endangering his people and subsequently abandoned so-called barbarian customs to embrace the agriculture destiny of his ancestors. These actions immediately characterized him as a paragon of virtue and endowed the Chao, and subsequently China, with a sedentary agrarian character. The Shi Qi records it as follows. The ancient Duke, Tom Fu, again cultivated the agriculture occupation of Hao Shi, and Duke Lu accumulated his virtue and practiced righteousness, and the people of the state all supported him. The Sun-TZU of the Zheng and Ti barbarians attacked them, wanting to get their wealth and things, so he gave them to them. After they again attacked, wanting to take the land and people, the people were angry and wanted to fight. The ancient Duke said, when people establish a ruler, it should be to their advantage. Now the barbarians are attacking and waging war because they want my land and people. What difference is there if the people are with them or with me? The people want to fight because of me, but to slay people's fathers and sons in order to rule them, I cannot bear to do it. Then, with his relatives, he went to Penn, forded the Cheese River, the Shu River, crossed over Mount Lion, and stopped below Mount Chi. The people of Penn, supporting their aged and carrying their weak, again all flocked to the ancient Duke below Mount Chi. When the nearby states heard of the ancient Duke's benevolence, many also gave their allegiance. Thereupon the ancient Duke discarded their barbarian customs, constructed walls and buildings, and established cities to have them dwell separately. He set up officials for the 5 offices. The people all sang songs and took pleasure in it, praising his virtue. General Su Peking, a 20th century Chinese military historian, believes the Chao easily managed to develop alliances with various peoples, including disenchanted Hisha, groups conquered by the Shang, because of their agriculture heritage and specialization in perpetuating the Hisha's agriculture offices. For many years, the Chao had dispatched advisors to instruct other people and states in farming practices and seasonal activities. This not only garnered them respect and goodwill, but also gave them an opportunity to gain a thorough knowledge of the inhabitants, customs, and terrain outside the Wei River Valley. However, Qi Li, Tom Fu's third son, and here, through the virtuous deference of his 2 elder brothers, aggressively waged successful campaigns against neighboring peoples and rapidly expanded the Chao's power base. At first, the Shang recognized his achievements and sanctioned his actions, granting him the title of Earl, but he was eventually imprisoned and died at Shang hands, despite having married into their royal house. Although the history of Shang-Chao relations remains somewhat unclear, awaiting further archaeological discoveries, several other members of the Chao royal house, including King Wen, seem to have married Shang princesses. Generations before the Chao had migrated into the Wei River Valley, commencing with King Wu Ting, the Shang had conducted several military expeditions to subjugate the Chao. Shang kings had also frequently hunted in the Chao domain, but apparently grew apprehensive and abandoned this practice as Chao's might increased. In his old age, King Wen was also imprisoned by the tyrannical Shang ruler for his royal remonstrance, but he gained his freedom through lavish bribes gathered by his family and other virtuous men. The gifts presented were so generous and impressive that King Wen, who continued to profess his submission and fealty to the Shang, was even designated the Western Duke or Lord of the West. When the title was conferred, he was presented with a bow, arrows, and axes, symbols of the attendant military responsibilities that ironically required that he actively protect the empire from external challenges. He immediately returned to his small state on the western fringe of the Shang Empire, where the remoteness of the Wei River Valley proved immensely advantageous. Dwelling in essentially barbarian territory, the people enjoyed the stimulus of vigorous military activity, the harvest of fertile area, and the secrecy that relative isolation allowed. Because King Wen could implement effective policies to foster the state's material and social strength without attracting undue attention, Chao had the luxury of 17 years to prepare for the ultimate confrontation. The 6 Secret Teachings and the Chao Conquest. 3 famous individuals have historically been identified with the Chao's ascent and conquest of the Shang: King Wen, King Wu, and the Tai Kung. King Wen, who ruled for decades, nurtured the state's power, implemented strong economic policies to foster the people's welfare, and fashioned a strong reputation for virtue. King Wu, who succeeded him, who ruled for decades, nurtured the state's power, implemented strong economic policies to foster the people's welfare, and fashioned a strong reputation for virtue. King Wu, who succeeded him just years before the dynastic revolution, completed the Chao's preparations by expanding their alliances, subjugating potential enemies, and forging the armed forces, and forging the armed forces, thereafter undertaking the final military campaign. The Tai Kung, whose historical authenticity, like Sun-TZU's, is frequently questioned, has been honored throughout Chinese history as the first general and the true progenitor of strategic thought.